This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
All right. Are you ready for tonight, Rube?
I am ready to roll. I am wearing my Super Bowl champion sweatshirt. My one and only purchase to remember the glory of last year. I figured I would pull it out for this show, given that we need a little a little good juju for our boys as we go into the back stretch of the season. So I'm representing, brother. I'm
I
representing.
had the same exact thing in mind. You see this here?
I like it. LIX, baby.
The old Super Bowl logo. So, hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Know that you can subscribe on X at Philly Porch. And also on YouTube, you can subscribe and follow us there at Philadelphia Sports Porch. So, we went up some subscribers from last show to this show. So we're trying to build this channel. We're pretty new at this. The two of us just doing this together. So we want to just, gradually build this channel and give you guys exactly what you want, which is good Philadelphia sports talk mixed in with a little bit of comedy, I think.
A little comedy. A nice little surprise at the end of every show, which is not sports related. So if you haven't tuned in before, stay tuned. We'll hit you with a little surprise at the end. But it's good seeing you, my friend. How's your week been?
My week has been very good. And you?
Yeah, very good. Very good. It is, as a Philly guy now living in Texas, I haven't felt the cold in some time. It only got up into the 40s today in Texas, which is maybe the low 50s. So the tire light came on, which it does the first freeze of every year. And so, it's chilly in Austin, Texas, but I still bleed and have fire in my blood for Philly sports.
There you go. I like it. So, obviously, the only thing we're going to leave out today is the Phillies, because until somebody signs somewhere, there's really nothing to talk about, But going back to the Eagles, no, we're not gonna break down the whole last game, because we did that post game, and to be honest, who really even wants to? It was that bad. It was that bad.
Flush it.
But there is something before we get into a little segment about how we might be able to fix the Eagles. There was some breaking news not too long ago out of Pittsburgh, and I know we don't like to say that word around here, but
we did it. We did it again.
But you'll see the Eagles connection here. They have released Darius Big Play Slay, and so my question to you, Rube, is: should the Eagles bring back Big Play Slay?
So my initial instinct is to say no. And the reason I say no is, we tried to bring back, we've already brought one guy back in Brandon Graham off of retirement. It sounds like with the way Slay's been playing, he's got one leg into retirement with Pittsburgh, which is probably why they let him go. I think we need to work through it with the people that we have on, with the players that we have on the squad, and see what kind of run we can make. I just kind of feel like going back to the well again for a known is probably not the best path forward. What say you?
Well, I'm going to take the other side of it. I actually want Darius Slay back really bad. Because
really bad. Wow.
Because the bottom line is, man, I mean, when you play a team that's got two good receivers, like a CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens, right? Mm-hmm. They're just going to take turns rotating that guy over to Adoree Jackson, and Adoree Jackson can't cover anybody.
He can't cover your old neighbor who used to live next to you in Tannery Woods, whatever that guy's name was.
Exactly. Nobody. I mean, Dory Jackson can't cover anybody. I mean, I almost look at it as how could you even get worse than Dory Jackson? You couldn't. You couldn't. Now let's
Keely
remember.
Ringo.
Now Slay is just 1 year removed from being a pretty darn good corner. Think about it. He comes back home. He and his wife really liked it here. They really kind of got involved with the fan base and everything. He'd be coming back for hey, one more stretch run to see if he can get himself another ring. Look, I mean, does he get beat at times? Yeah, but Adoree Jackson gets beat every time.
So, and Adoree Jackson limps off the field more than Slay ever did.
Right. And here's the thing. I mean, look, he knows Vic Fangio's system, right?
Yeah.
So he knows the system. He even knows how to play with Cooper and Quinyon and Reed Blankenship. So, I think he would fit in pretty easily. Now, keep in mind, he had a really good year last year. So, you go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has the most expensive defense in the NFL, and they're also the worst defense in the NFL. So they either have horrible coaching or they just don't have guys who are able to mesh together. I think it was just kind of like a bad marriage from the start, over there in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was trying to do hey, we can make the Super Bowl if we, bring in all these guys who are past their prime, and that's never a good answer. But I think for Slay, where he's coming back home, knows the system, knows the players, you couldn't do worse than Adoree Jackson. I mean, I say bring him back because I look at it as there's nothing to lose. Now, I will say this, you did say Brandon Graham. Look, he's contributed very little. If you wanted to know, I think he has one solo tackle and one assist or something like that. But, they've only had him out there for 36 plays in 4 games. So, if you're not going to use him, I mean, I can't blame him for a lack of production.
No, that's fair. But if we're not going to use him, why waste the spot? Why not bring in Mr. Ty, Mr. Vanilla Gorilla? I don't know why that guy's not seeing the field. I don't understand it.
He did see the field in the middle of the season a little bit, and actually here's another issue that we need to talk about, which actually is really concerning to me. Did you know that last week?
By the way, before we get off of Slay, I don't think we're gonna. If the Eagles are even thinking about it, the Lions have lost almost their entire defensive backfield, including Terry and Arnold. They just put on the IR. So talking about going home, perhaps to another team that could use a spark. I don't think we're the only ones that may look at it. Just saying. But please, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no. That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. I know that there was bad blood with him and Patricia, but that whole regime's gone, so I don't think that really matters. But good point. Now this I found very concerning. Were you aware that Jihad Campbell did not log a single snap last week on defense?
I did notice that. Since Nakobe's been back, he hasn't sniffed the field. And I got to tell you, I think we miss him. I think we miss him in coverage. I think we miss his energy. And you're telling me there's not enough room on the field for Bond, Nakobe Dean, and Jihad Campbell? I don't understand that at all.
What happened to the, you had a middle Mike linebacker, you had a strong safety and a strong side backer and a weak side backer. Why do we have to play 2 backers?
I don't know. I guess it's hard to argue with the system and with Fangio.
Right.
But man, if you've got horses, you got to put them on the field and you got to let them play. And that is surprising. I did read that and I was shocked by that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, the bottom line is he's a playmaker. I mean, he's has an interception this year. He's forced a fumble this year. He can cover a tight end pretty well. He can go sideline to sideline to make a tackle. I mean, you got to get your best players on the field. Like to be honest, I mean, with the situation with Makuba being out, I'd rather have Jihad Campbell on the field and go with 3 defensive backs than have Sidney Brown on the field.
Yeah, I that's exactly who I thought of. And oh, by the way, the Bears just ran all over us. So
Right.
clearly we need something up the middle. Now,
Right.
listen, I would also say, hold my horses, Rube. It's one bad game, and they've been picking up the slack for a crap offense for the better part of 2 months now. So at some point, your defense is going to wear out, and we saw that. But you know, could you not put a Jihad Campbell in there to help stop the run after the first half when they've proven
Right.
that they've killed us on the ground? I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know what they're trying to protect. Maybe they're afraid Dean, given his injury history. Do you put both of those guys at risk and have them there at the same time? I don't know, but
I
it's
don't know. And
something to
and look,
watch.
Nakobe's played really well coming back.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and I would say, like, if you had to pick a starter between the two, I would also pick Nakobe.
Hmm.
But you got to get your best players on the field, and so I think he needs to be in there. At least give him half the snaps or something, right?
Give them something.
And the other thing too is, when you do have 2 good players, like, think about it this way: like, is it better to have Nakobe Dean, on the field for 100% of the snaps and Jihad Campbell for 0% of the snaps, or is it actually even help Nakobe if he's on the field for 70% of the snaps and Jihad's on for 30% of the snaps? That gives, Dean a little bit of rest so he can, be at maximum capacity when he's out there. And same thing with Jihad. He knows if he's only getting 30 snaps, he's going full force every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I could argue the counter to that. 2 things. Number one is, can we agree that the middle linebacker is probably, or Nakobe's probably the captain of the defense when it comes to calling the plays, right? He wears the green.
That's true. That's true.
Do you give Tanner McKee 30% of the snaps?
No.
So, which I'll come back to maybe talk about here in a little bit, but as a
I
teaser.
know where this is going.
But so I don't think you can do that. Plus, once you're in the rhythm of the game, you're feeling it. It probably takes 5-10 plays to get into the rhythm of the game. So if you only, I don't know. I'd rather see them both playing than having to take one off the field.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about. I'm sure our audience knows that the Eagles, they're on a bit of a slide right now. They've lost 2 in a row. The offense has been very uninspiring, to say the least, for the past month, I'd say, since the bye.
Mhm.
And they're really sputtering. And I think everybody's looking for answers. Nick Sirianni has stated that the play caller will remain the same. So the question that we're posing here is, if it's up to you, what are you doing to right the ship?
And it's one move.
One move and one move only?
One move and one move only.
Okay.
Or, you can, we have creative license here. If you have multiple things you want to do, I say go for it, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as effective as what I'm going to tell you to do.
Okay. What are you going to do, Rube?
Are we ready?
I don't even know if I want to hear it.
I mean, are we really ready, fans? Are we ready, sports porchers?
Oh man, I feel like I know it's coming. Just say it and then I'll crucify you.
Okay. Let me cook for a little bit before you crucify me. Hear me out. But you know what? Drastic times, which I think these are drastic times. I think we could all agree that the team as it's currently going is not going to make a deep playoff run. Right? Last week we were talking about not even making the playoffs. Now we may have overreacted a little bit right after the game. Emotions were running high, but let's just agree that the current course and trajectory, we're not going to make a deep run. So drastic times, drastic situation. I think we sit Hurts for a game, at least a game. Hear me out.
Just so
Number,
the idea is one game and then he comes back.
I think it's one game, and he comes back for now.
Mhm.
But hear me out. Number one, being the quarterback for the Eagles of an 8-4 team that's lost a couple games in a row, in addition to all of the other nonsense with AJ Brown and so on and so forth, I think the guy needs a mental break. Now he's as mentally strong, and he's proven that to us, as just about anyone that's ever worn an Eagles uniform. But I think the guy needs a break, and I think you give him a mental break for a week from football, from all the nonsense, from having to answer 1,000 different questions, and you just say, you know what, go sit, go take a break, go take a mental break. Number one. Number two, if we're going to make a run, we're going to need our quarterback at his absolute best, physically, mentally, and physically. Take him out of harm's way for a week. There's no chance of getting hurt if you're on the bench and holding a clipboard. Number three, give Tanner McKee, assuming that's who we would play, and who I believe highly in. You've heard me express that before. Give him time. You know what? We needed, God bless him, Kenny Pickett last year. Hurts went down for a couple of games. I think we give our backup quarterback an opportunity to shine, and to get some valuable experience in case he is needed for the playoffs. Number four, which I think is a compelling discussion. Let's assume it's the same game plan.
Mhm.
Perhaps if we get the same results, we can then determine, hey, is it really the offensive line? Is it the play calling? Is it something else? On the contrary, maybe this allows our offensive coordinator and coach and Patullo and Sirianni to maybe open the playbook again. I think we all know Hurts does not throw the ball over the middle. There's probably a stat up that says he probably throws over the middle the least out of any starting quarterback, like within at least the past few years. So maybe we try some quick throws. Maybe we try some screen passes. Maybe we throw more over the middle to Devontae and I lost my mind. I got hurt. And by the way,
And Amy
by
May
the way,
says, I hate Rob's plan. I would never sit Hurts.
that's okay. That's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But here's the other thing.
And
Maybe
Leslie, just for a second here, not drastic enough or long-term impact. It's not Jalen.
okay. Clearly, two of our biggest fans don't know what they're talking about. Here's the other thing. Stick with me here. Let me cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we've learned is that last season, the most valuable player was clearly Saquon Barkley. He hasn't done anything this year, and we've done nothing to change the script. Maybe with a different quarterback in there who may be more adept at throwing screen passes, we can get Saquon out. And all it's going to take for Saquon to get going is maybe a big run. And if you have to do it through a screen pass or a swing pass, do it. I think those are my main points. I think it may also send a message to the rest of the team that, listen, we're willing to do something drastic to change our trajectory. And it's not above anybody on this team to take a break, sit, watch, and get back right mentally and physically. And what's the worst case scenario? We lose a game. The best case scenario?
That's a bad scenario, losing another game.
But best case scenario, we win, and perhaps that inspires some underperformers, and perhaps it inspires Hurts to perhaps play a little bit better. That's Rube's suggestion for fixing the Eagles this year.
Well,
feedback welcome.
I will give you this, that it was well mapped out, and I do think that there were some points that he made that made some sense.
Okay.
However,
here comes the but.
However, I think the entire idea hinges on that we actually think that Tanner McKee is good.
And I happen to believe he is good. From the small sample size we've seen, he's a capable quarterback and he's got chops.
extremely small sample size.
Extremely true.
Is it,
And I'm
is
not
it,
saying
is it,
start him the rest of the season.
yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
saying switch it up.
is it one game that he played well?
Well, he only started one game.
Right. So, I mean, look, but think of all the guys who have started one game and looked pretty good,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like on the Eagles, you could look at like Bobby Hoyen,
Well, Bobby Hoying started more than one game.
Right.
However, I mean, listen, there are definitely cons to doing it,
Right.
but you know, I think there's merits there that shouldn't be overlooked or couldn't be overlooked. And again, what's the worst thing that happens?
Well,
We
I
lose.
actually I do think
We're
there's another.
losing anyway. We're losing anyway.
Well, I do think there's another worse thing that could happen too.
He gets hurt.
You could lose Jalen Hurts. You could have Jalen Hurts sitting there thinking like, what the hell is wrong with this team? I mean, I'm a Super Bowl MVP, 2 times to the big game in the last 3 years, and they're going to sit me because I have a bad game. Three or 4 games ago, I had a perfect passer rating. You know what I mean?
There's
So
risk there. There's risk.
you could totally lose him, and you could get him to the point where he's like, I want out of here.
My
right?
counterpoint would be you certainly talk to him about it first. You explain your reasoning, and perhaps for the good of the long term and being the good leader that he is, he takes one for the team, and we see. So, but there's definitely that. Like, listen, any competitor realistically like Hurts is never, ever, ever going to willingly sit. But,
Right.
We got to try something different. We got to try something provocative here. I say we give it a chance. What say you, Grant Schwab?
I say absolutely not. I would not give that a chance.
Okay.
And like here's the thing. I listen. Obviously, we both listen to a lot of Philly sports radio,
Mm-hmm.
and God bless Odyssey for
Yep.
allowing us to do that.
Yeah.
But like, to be honest, I'm really sick. I'm really sick of people saying that Jalen Hurts, isn't playing well. Now, is he playing at his best? No, I don't think so. I think somebody said, like, his passer rating on the season's over 100, but I think it's been like maybe 86, like the past 4 weeks or something like that. His completion percentage for the season is like 69%, but I think it's like 63% the last 4 weeks, something like that. So I get it that he is not playing his top brand of football. But like, seriously, I mean, I went over this last week on our show. He's got 19 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. There's only one quarterback that's done better, and that's Matthew Stafford. And he just got picked off a couple times this past week. But, I mean, like, this is just absurdity. You know what I mean? This is absurdity. This is, we're expecting the moon and the stars from this guy every single week. A couple weeks ago, before this bad stretch of play, he had a perfect passer rating, perfect. And, I look at it and I see there's a million different things that are going wrong, and Jalen Hurts is the least of our issues.
Well, maybe this kind of proves that to everybody that it isn't your quarterback, and perhaps it shines light elsewhere, and we make a drastic move, either, like everyone else is saying, oh, I got to change the play caller. The offensive line stinks. Oh, ba-da-da-da-da. On all of that, and some level is kind of true, right? I think we would all violently agree
Right.
that the offensive line isn't where it has been. But how else do you prove the point that it perhaps is something else? Maybe it takes some of the pressure off of him in the long term. But listen, we can agree to disagree. It's okay.
Well,
I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to hear your insights there, Grant Schwabini.
So what I would do,
or your plan.
What I would do instead is this, and you hear
Okay.
Jalen Hurts talk about this all the time, is that our team this year hasn't established an identity. You know, that last year our identity was that we were a running football team. You know, we're basically Saquon's team. And if we have to pass, we pass. I think that what we need to do is accept the identity as a passing team. Okay. And what I mean by that, now look, I know it goes anti to a lot of different things. I mean, usually if you run the ball, you win football games, right? But I think that we can't just continue on first and second down to hand the ball to Barkley and he's getting hit behind the line. You know, we can't just continue to do that. So I think we need to go out and accept our identity as a pass first team, but not make it so darn predictable. You know, I mean, look, I mean, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, they basically have two routes. They have a crossing route and they have a deep ball, right? We need to do something else. You know, maybe a little
or that route where they stop and come back to the ball. Right. That's a big AJ Brown route. Yep.
Right.
A button hook.
Yes. So we need a little bit more of a route tree, right? The other thing that we need to do is we need to just confuse defenses by moving people around. Did you know that I read today AJ Brown hasn't lined up in the slot once this year? That's ridiculous. Everybody moves their best receiver into the slot so they can get, you know, a favorable matchup, right? You know, so I mean, look, people got to move around. We got to call, you know, some more, you know, interesting plays. We can't be so predictable. And you know, for that part of it, I'm going to put a little bit on Sirianni. I'm going to ask Sirianni to step in on play calling when he feels necessary, right? So look, it's up to him. Like the buck stops with him. You know, like if Patullo puts in a play call and it is second down and 10, and the play call is, you know, we're going to run Saquon right up the middle. I want Sirianni stepping in and saying no. You know, they've been double teaming AJ and Devontae all day. I want to send Dotson on a go route. You know, have Dotson beat the third cornerback, right? So, you know, whatever it is. I mean, I'm just making up a play there, but you know, that's what I want him to do is step in and change the play call. You know, you show trust and loyalty to your offensive coordinator when you get, you know, behind the microphone and you say he's the play caller, right? That's all you look. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to know how many, you know, plays you changed when they're signaled in, and that's another thing too. A lot of sportscasters are talking about that it takes the Eagles a lot of time to get the play in, and we're always coming down to the end of the play clock. And I also think that that's something that is hampering Hurts because he's barely getting an opportunity to read the defense. You know, people sit there and they say, well, like, oh, you know, he can't see the field. How do you see the field in the Super Bowl last year? Pretty darn good. How do you see the field in the NFC Championship game last year? Pretty darn good. Well, you know what? Maybe he sees the field pretty well when he's got 20 seconds to see what's coming at him. You know, instead of like.
So let me ask you this then. So let me jump in. So why does it take Sirianni having to override the play call? Why doesn't the play call come in and Hurts get out there and read the defense, get out of the huddle, call the play, and call an audible if he needs to, right? And I've heard stories. I do not know this to be true, that he's checking out of allotted plays. But let's just say we don't know anything. I don't know. You don't know. But a quarterback who's been in the league as long as he has, who's had the success he has, and is presumably as intelligent and as savvy as he has, why don't you give him more control over what's happening on the field rather than just running the play that gets called?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. You know, and you know, the thing though is that like, you know, there's so much stuff out there that we just don't even know if it's true or not. You know?
That's right.
Here was another one that I heard today. They'd like to run the ball more with Jalen, but Jalen said he doesn't want to do it. Are you kidding me? I can't imagine Jalen Hurts saying to his coach, who says, "Hey, Jalen, this is going to help us win." Nah, we got to think about me making it to the end of the year. I cannot see him saying that. That does not sound like him at all.
Mm-mm.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. So let me recap.
Yeah.
Yours is you change the play caller,
Mhm.
more or less. Do you change? But
Well,
you don't
it's-
change it all the time. You give Sirianni right of first refusal.
Right. And the other part is that we accept our identity as a passing team.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah. So we're not running on first down, right up the middle. We're not running. Look, sometimes you're going to do it, right? But like what I'm kind of saying is I would have no problem with on our first 2 series or even 3 series, we throw on first and second down. Doesn't mean we can't run on second down. You know what I mean? If we get a 9-yard gain through the air, right? But, hey, we do a pass on first down, it's incomplete. No, we're not running up the middle to set up a 3rd and 7. We're actually going to try to get the first down 2 times. You know what I mean?
We're constantly 3rd and long. Yeah, here would be my counter to that. I don't think we're built to be a passing team, quite frankly. And my point earlier around we don't throw screen passes, we throw over the middle less than every team in the NFL. Our routes are, our routes are very predictable. To me, that all doesn't bode well for us trying to change our identity, which was Super Bowl winning as a running team. And now saying, oh, you know what, we're going to be a passing team. When I don't necessarily, I applaud the idea. I just don't know if it works with who we currently have on the roster.
To me, that's just belief in Jalen Hurts in my mind.
Yeah,
I think I have more belief. I think I have more belief than you do.
I have a ton of belief in him, but I also know what I've been watching. And what I've been watching is either him or someone else calling the plays. You and I could defend those plays.
Yeah.
I think you or I could throw the ball over the middle of the field successfully and not worry about getting pick sixes. And why are we looking at Saquon Barkley sliding in the snow?
Because I forgot to put this up earlier when I put up how would you fix the Eagles slide? It's Saquon slide.
Hey, technical director,
that makes some sense, doesn't it?
My buddy, my buddy old Tal. I think we may need you back.
All right, well let's move on to the guys in orange and black. Right now we do have an issue, the Forster factor. You and I are big Forster fans, and he was leading the team in goals, had his 10th goal last night. And then unfortunately, I love how they put this in hockey terms, right? They can't even tell us what's wrong with him. Upper body injury.
Upper body injury, yeah.
What, 2 to 3 months for an upper body injury? What does that mean? Has he got a wart on his back? I mean, what the hell does that even mean? So I guess the question is the Forster injury. Now what? Are we still rolling with, hey, we're trying to make the playoffs? Or does this kind of make you say, we're not gonna have one of our best players for quite a while. We'll just kind of let's play it by ear, see what happens, and see what we want to do further down the line.
I argue the former, not the latter. The Flyers have proven to be a better team than we've seen in a while, right? We talked about this last week. At current course and trajectory, they're 100. They're 100-point. I'm sorry, 100-point winning team this year. This is what I would do. I would figure out. I don't know if it's like a Jet Luchenko or whoever it is. He is Forster a center or a winger?
He's a winger.
Yeah. So I think what we do is we just go find someone on the Phantoms and we call them up and give an opportunity for someone else to score goals. What I think we need to go do, again, if for the sake of this season and perhaps, the long term, is I'm still not comfortable with who we have at the blue line. I think we need to
Mhm.
go get a stud defenseman. As much as I like Sanheim as well as Drysdale is playing this year, I still think we need a number one or a number two defenseman.
We do.
And there are plenty of guys out there that perhaps are not in great situations, perhaps people that used to be on like a team like the Flyers a few years ago,
Mhm.
who are probably going to become free agents. That if we can get them in the system this year, perhaps guys who have played with some of our players or have played for Tocchet and understand the system, I think we go out and we spend our money on defense and we figure out how to score goals otherwise. Now, listen, if we could get two, right? It's like we talked in the Phillies. If we can go get a bat and a closer, well, that would be great.
Mhm.
But if we could get just one, we agreed closer was probably the number one. In this instance, I would say we need to go get a stud blue liner that's going to anchor that defense for the future.
Mhm.
I've heard a name like is it Connor Hughes? Or is it Colin Hughes? The guy, one of the Hughes brothers who plays for Vancouver.
Vancouver. Yeah.
Yeah, who is friends with Zegras, by the way, who has played for Tocchet, by the
Mhm.
way, um, and uh, and probably doesn't want to stick around in Vancouver long term.
Yep.
I'm sure plenty are going to covet him, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing us taking a run at someone like that.
Yeah, and I have seen reports where Danny Briere, the GM, has said that he's not opposed to trading picks for players, and we've got a ton of picks,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I say you go and you do it, because, if you really think about it, I mean, look, I mean, Forster's out for 2 to 3 months, but, he's a stud, Zegras is playing like a stud, um,
Quinn
I
Hughes. Is it Quinn Hughes? Quinn Hughes. Sorry about that.
yeah.
Quinn Hughes. Yeah.
I still like the potential of an Owen Tippett. I love Konechny with his feistiness. Next year you're going to probably be bringing in Porter Martone, the number one pick, and he's just like dominating in college right
And
now.
Michkov hasn't even played yet. I mean, he really hasn't played well yet
Right.
this year.
Although he's starting to. I think he had a 2-goal game 2 games ago. So you're going to have a lot of offensive firepower. I agree with you. You need to improve the defense. It's if you think about the last time the Flyers were relevant, they had Pronger and Timonen back there.
Hmm.
And I just remember I think there was a year where we beat the Penguins in a series, and one of the guys that I hang out with who is a Penguins fan was just I was like, yeah, it's like they're having trouble scoring. And he's like, well, I mean, it's hard to score when you have like two of the best defensemen in the world back there.
Hmm.
So, I agree with you. I think that's what we need. And hopefully they'll continue this course of good play. And let's now bring us on over to your Philadelphia 76ers. I'll tell you what, the Sixers, you had described them as meh.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would say that's a pretty good adjective to describe them. Um, and I
I
guess
so wanted to be excited this year. I so
yeah.
wanted to be excited, but here we are.
Well, here's the thing. To be honest, I bet you're going to feel the same way.
Okay.
I would actually still be excited about the Sixers if we didn't have Paul George and Joel Embiid on the team. I just feel like these two guys, they sort of suck and drain the energy. Like, it's like, how, like, here's the thing. Now, unlike last year where Embiid went and played in the Olympics, right?
Hmm.
This year he did get surgery in the offseason.
Hmm.
This year Daryl Morey did say, he was fighting to be ready for the start of the season. And what's happened? It's the same old, same old. Clearly the knee's never going to get better because within a couple games, it was swelling and, hurting, aching, whatever. I mean, how many times are we going to when you look at your sports ticker, wherever it might be, Embiid looking like he's out tonight. And then a little bit later, Embiid's actually going to be in the lineup tonight. And then he plays and he doesn't play bad. He maybe has 20 points in 18 minutes or something. And then it's like he's out the next week. You know what I mean? It's like, first of all, the team can't gain any sense of chemistry doing that. Because you also have to play a different game when Embiid's in the game, right? And Paul George, but more so Embiid. And the other thing is, I think I believe where the Sixers are in this process right now. I did not mean to say process. I apologize. But I believe where they are is, let's hang on. Let's see if we can get Paul George and Embiid healthy to the playoffs, and then let's hope we can catch lightning in a bottle. And I don't think that that's going to happen, because the reality is, even though Embiid, and Paul George has played pretty decently as well, but when they come in and they just play a game or two, they're not getting into the flow of the game. I mean, Embiid's not playing, strong defense and really rebounding. I mean, he's really just pretty much shooting jump shots to get to his 20 points. So it's kind of like, what would you expect after not doing it the whole year? He's going to walk on the court in the playoffs and start jamming over people. I mean, I just don't see it happening. And I feel like at this point, I am finally ready to say it's okay for him to go. And sadly, the reason why I actually feel that way is because I don't think he could actually help another team win a championship. I don't.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd hate to say I've been saying it for years, but we've been saying it for years, right? And so the process was a failure. We we wasted a decade and a lot of bad years just to keep picking the wrong players. It's unfortunate with Embiid. Embiid was probably the one bright spot in all of that, and it's just unfortunate. But he's just never going to be the healthy same. He's never going to be the same again. All those doctors and all the commentary can't be wrong. And so he's made his money. I think he'll try to play it out, his contract maybe. But you're right. I don't think we're ever going to see the old Joel Embiid again. You know what it kind of feels like, Schwabi? It feels to me like the Sixers are still like stuck in the 1990s or the early 2000s, where hey, we got to get our big stars no matter what it costs. Right? I just hate the fact that they wasted so much money on Paul George. It didn't take a genius to know that just so we could get another big name and maybe put people in the stands. There was never a chance of this thing going anywhere. I kind of feel like you watch some of these other teams, they've drafted very well. You look now at the Pistons, who've been down so long and they're playing well. You look at Oklahoma City. You may not know who all these people are, but they've been able to go find them, scout them, and draft them and build good teams. And it just feels like the Sixers have totally missed the boat. It kind of, what it feels like? It feels like NIL, like Clemson. They were so good, and they're like, oh, I don't need the NIL or the transfer portal, and everybody's passing them by. And it kind of feels like, Harris and the ownership team gave Morey carte blanche, and he's completely screwed it up. And he hasn't been able to fix the ills that came before him either. So I'd like to see them do something. I like a couple of these draft picks, but you're not going to win. You're not going to win playoff series and titles as it is. It's the bottom line.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you, and kind of what I'm getting at is, I think the way the league is shaped right now, you don't need an all-star center anymore, right? It's a three-pointer game, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's right.
And what you need for that is you need three good guards. And we have three good, very young guards right now, and Maxey and McCain
Edgecombe and
and
McCain, yeah.
Edgecombe.
Yeah.
And I just really like to see that blossom. I don't need to see Embiid and Paul George like hobbling around out there once every 3 or 4 games. I just want to embrace the young guards that we have, let them grow, and maybe do a better job of find it like who you need as like a center. You need like who's the guy on the team that I refer to as the best worst team of all time, the worst best team of all time.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, who's their guy? What's his name? The guy, was he from
The Knicks?
no, 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 no. Not
Oh,
not not
Adams?
Not
Adams?
Hartenstein.
Not
No,
Hartenstein.
no. Maybe he's a power forward. He's the guy from who's the Gonzaga.
Yeah, not Adams, not Timmy or oh, Chet Holmgren?
Yes.
The big
That's
skinny, the tall skinny guy?
Yeah, like that's what you need. You need a
Dude, that's
Chet
Sean
Holmgren.
Bradley. Come on.
Yeah, you need like a Chet Holmgren. You need like a Hartenstein and somebody else that's just as good as Hartenstein, to
Yeah,
split the game. Like
yeah.
that's what you need, and we can kind of fill in the gaps as we go, right?
You kind of feel like
so
you want to build a an NBA Villanova team because
right,
essentially what Jay Wright did all those years.
right. So, that's what I'd like to see. But I to be honest, I think it will get there by default.
Yeah.
But
It's just painful. It's just painful to have to sit through.
right, right. Like the bottom line is like the interest in the team goes up when the old guard and the process is gone. And the longer it stays, the harder it is to get on board.
Yeah.
So
Blow
all
it
right.
up.
Well, enough of the Sixers as they win one, lose one. The next part of our show, our final segment tonight, is what we're watching.
Didn't I tell all you watchers out there was going to be a surprise? Schwabi, tell it like it is.
Am I aware of this surprise?
No, it's what we're watching. We said at the beginning of the show to our new
that
listeners
is, oh,
that
that
there's
is
dude, you gotta get with the program here.
Hey
You
man,
gotta
long
keep
day,
your coffee.
long day, long day. Okay, well, here is the part of the show that means a lot to me, and I know Rube as well, because we give back to you. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate you enjoying our show. And it's the time where we give thanks. And we do so by helping you determine what to watch, whether it be a TV show or a movie. We're here to watch it for you, and we will grade it for you. We will tell you 2 thumbs up. That means it's a lock. 2 thumbs down means stay away. We told you. And 1 up, 1 down kind of means we're indifferent. Maybe if you like that genre, check it out. But why wouldn't you just go with a 2 thumbs up anyway? Right?
That's right.
So, all these different channels to choose from. So hard to figure it out. We've done it for you. And we're going to start out with Ruby, who I have to tell you, Rube, I'm a huge, huge fan of this guy. Ruby has watched the movie Transporter 2, some Jason Statham.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I love Statham. Even though his movies are all kind of feel like the same in the same genre, I like his action. I like the stone face. Obviously Lemmer enjoys, the part of the movie where someone rips his shirt off. So it inspires me to maybe want to do a sit-up or two every now and again. But I've watched, we talk a lot about some of the newer things that we've watched, the series
Yep.
and so on and so forth. I rewatched the Transporter 2, because it just happened to be on. I forget
Mhm.
what it was on. Um, but these are the types of movies that if I see them, I can't go past them. And
Mhm.
I really enjoyed 2. Essentially, the plot is, for those of you who don't know, Jason Statham is a transporter, a driver, if you will, and he sometimes and he's got a list of rules and things that he abides by, and he drives a really nice car, and essentially he usually ends up driving for perhaps very wealthy people, perhaps sometimes not so nice people. In this particular one, he ends up being the driver for a wealthy couple, and the leading actor is Matthew Modine from Vision Quest fame. For it, we'll have to
Mhm.
talk about that one in the future. And of course, this person who's very powerful has enemies, and they kidnap this child, and Jason Statham has to go get him back, and thus the movie goes. Great action, um, some beautiful people, uh, classic Statham. And if you enjoy Transporter 2, let me tell you what, Transporter 1 was very good. Transporter 3, okay. The Ukrainian girl got a little annoying in Transporter 3 for me, but Transporter 2, I think, was the best of the Transporter series. Rube gives it 2 thumbs up.
Rule number 1, never open the package.
Dude, you could take your hat off and you'd look just like Tatum.
Right, right. I have to tell you, I'm a huge
Rule
Statham
number
fan.
1.
Yeah. I'm a huge Statham fan because, anybody that can make a bald man look like a sex symbol, is just A-okay in my book. Um,
I love it. Hey,
yeah.
this is just a quick sidebar, a little extra for our fans
Mhm,
and for the Grand Schwabini. Uh,
mhm.
Lemmer and I watched Novocaine this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, what'd you think?
Rube,
You liked
Lemmer,
it?
Lemmer.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was really funny, actually. I thought his role was really funny, and
yeah,
and I just thought he was so quirky good.
uh-huh.
Um, but I thought the rest of the movie was pretty bad. But so I liked him. I liked the idea of not feeling
Yeah,
pain.
yeah,
It was a little too gory for Lemmer, and I think she was out
yeah, yeah.
about halfway
Gotcha,
through.
gotcha.
But there you go.
But yeah, I love Statham. I have a little saying, uh, regarding movies like Statham's, and it's
Okay,
action never fails.
never.
It never fails. I mean, if you are in a movie and you get through the whole thing and you didn't look down at your watch once, it was an action never fails, right?
There you go.
All right, so I am gonna pull up, what I just finished, The Beast in Me on Netflix,
Oh, Claire Danes.
starring Claire Danes of Homeland fame and Matthew Rhys of Americans fame.
Okay.
Had you seen Americans, by the way, Rube?
I have not, no.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you wanna get involved sort of like, in a little bit of a Peaky Blinders-ish way, like, where you got, like, a good 5, 6 seasons. Watch
Okay,
The Americans, it's awesome. It's
okay,
really good. And that's also where you get to see that guy, Matthew Rhys, is, like, an excellent actor.
okay.
Um, and have you seen Homeland as well? I'm giving
Yeah,
both of
I loved
Yeah,
Homeland.
yeah,
I thought Claire Danes was awesome in Homeland.
yeah.
Yeah,
So are you aware of this at all? This
I
this
am. As a matter of fact, I think we turned it on for like a half a second and we ended up doing something else,
Okay.
or watching something else, so we never got to watching it.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Claire Danes is an author, and she wrote like a best-selling book. And now there's some things that have happened in her life. She lost a child, and so now she's kind of going through intense grief and also writer's block. And then the Matthew Rhys character, who plays Niall Jarvis is his name,
Oh, good name.
in the show. and he moves next door to her. And what's going on with him is his wife disappeared. Nobody's found the body. Public opinion basically feels that he killed her, but nobody really knows, and nobody's got anything on him. They didn't bring any charges, and so he's just sort of like a pariah. Like wherever he goes, people are like, "Oh, do you know who that is?" That kind of thing, right?
Uh-huh.
So, so the bottom line is like you don't know if he's a murderer or not, right? And but the world is sort of fascinated by him. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in a roundabout way, Claire Danes tries to get out of her writer's block by offering him to do a book about him. So she's gonna interview him and all this kind of stuff. So they have a lot of interactions together. The other sort of side piece of this is that his father has basically created a company where there's a lot of corruption and there's a lot of like greasing of government officials to get their way and stuff like that. And I have to tell you, it's a welcome sight. Do you remember in Breaking Bad? Who was the guy in Breaking Bad that not Gus, but like Gus's like
Mike?
guy? Mike, yes.
Yeah.
Mike is his father.
Okay.
And Mike is just kind of like this like old businessman that's just like, I'll handle things. You stay out of it. that kind of thing. So
Uh-huh.
he's great in it. And so it was just really good. I mean, it was, a lot of intense action, a lot of really good acting, and and there were some twists and turns. Look, I'm not going to give you any more than that, just that it's a 2 thumbs up. I would
Okay.
say it's a must watch. It is a definite husband and wife, both 2 thumbs up.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yep.
And is it on Netflix? Is that what it's on?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And
Okay.
I think it's either 8 or 10 episodes, something like that.
Okay.
There
All
won't
right.
be there shouldn't be a 2 because it's really just like a 1 story.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the scoop. So we had Rube saying get back into the transporter. We had me saying the beast in me is just the right program for you. And for those of you listening, maybe on the podcast at this point, remember to follow us on X. You go to @PhillyPorch. Really simple to remember that.
At Philly
And
Porch on X. Okay.
yep, and you can also go to YouTube, and it's @Philadelphia Sports Porch on YouTube. Click on the subscribe button and watch a whole bunch of our shows because we put them all up there. So we've really been happy that the channel's growing, and we'd like to thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And Rube, any final words before we end this great session here?
I think my final words are go Birds.
Go Birds. Let's take it out. I will do this in a minute. No one said.
Eagles!
Okay.